About Sid, he always seems to land on his feet. He was down in Miami for a while. He's back here. He was kicked out of how many times at FAN. The world of sports broadcasting in New York is kind of small if you think about it. It's FAN.
Well, Carton came back.
Us.
Yeah.
And, of course, WABC. Not WABC.
ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio. So there's not a lot of sports on the radio anymore, if you think about it.
Well, I mean, it's pretty much always been those two stations.
We have a whole bunch of shows
three
here.
Stations.
We have great shows.
We have a lot of sports.
Monday and Tuesday at 5 o'clock.
As I like to say,
Friday at 5 o'clock? 3 o'clock.
This is the best hour of sports radio in New York. That's what I like to call our show.
I agree with you.
But so, Sid Rosenberg, if you're out there, if anybody knows Sid Rosenberg out there, Sid, I'll take you on any day, baby.
And Timmy's really out of shape.
Any day.
I'm out of shape, but Timmy's really out of shape.
Timmy's
got a lot of anger in him.
My statement to Sid Rosenberg is, come get some.
Tim's really angry, so he just punched the crap out of you. But you're not really in good shape.
I would destroy him.
I'm sure you would.
And I would enjoy it. because he said bad things about my guy, Billy Baldwin.
Hey, I love Billy. We
Massapequa. We stick up for each other, baby.
It's not just Seinfeld in Massapequa. It's the Baldwins. It's Frank Fields.
But, and like your boy, Keith Martin would say, come and get me, chicky.
We had Carlos Gambino living in Massapequa.
That's right.
Years
Carlo,
ago.
not Carlos.
Carlo, I'm sorry.
Get the name right. Come on, it's Gambino.
That's right. So anyway, we're going to take a break right now. Tim's challenge has been put out there. Someone pass it along to...
Bring it on, Rosenberg.
The troublemaker. We're going to talk about the Knicks when we get back. 516-572-7440. By the way, Timmy, I don't know if you know this.
What's that?
We have a great wrestling show here, which comes on at 4 o'clock called The Square Circle. Let the promo talk about it.
Yes.
Do you like professional wrestling?
What?
Sports entertainment?
What?
Well, do I have a show for you?
What?
The Squared Circle, Mondays at 4 p.m.
Oh, yeah!
We talk all things professional wrestling.
Woo!
From the past.
That's hard time.
To the present.
Yes!
So listen up as host Justin Greenberg and Anthony Tartamella bring you The Squared Circle, Mondays at 4 p.m. on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
You want the news? You can't handle the news.
Dude, that's a little dramatic, don't you think?
News, wherefore art thou news?
Still dramatic.
It was the best of news, it was the worst of news.
Seriously?
Alright, I give up, it's just the news.
Get all the day's news all in one place. All from the students at the voice of Nassau Community College.
My mama always said life was like a box of news. You never know what you're gonna get.
Unbelievable.
The WHPC 4:30 News Wrap-Up. Weekday afternoons at, 4:30 on 90.3 WHPC.
Okay, go.
Tell your friends about the Nassau Morning Madhouse. Hear what you're missing. Check it out.
This man did something absolutely insane for a donut. What would you do for a donut that you think is the absolute craziest thing?
I'd probably wrestle a wolf.
I still think what this guy did was crazy.
No way.
Yes.
I'm going to one-up Justin. I'm going to say I'm going to wrestle 2 wolves.
First of all, I kind of agree with him. He stabbed his grandson in the arm over a donut.
What?
Honestly.
Wait. You said before you were like, I'm kind of on the grandpa's side.
Yeah?
So please tell me there's like something I'm missing here.
The kid said no to his grandfather.
Okay,
Sonny,
honestly,
go get me a donut.
but the arm
Stab. That's his bonus.
Yeah.
First of all, that
extreme.
is
Don't mess with the big man's food.
Nassau Morning Madhouse. Weekday mornings from 7 to 9. On the voice of Nassau Community College.
90.3 WHPC.
Hey. My life away. I'll sing. The Alarm from the Pressbox. Here every Monday, by the way, talking sports. I'm Rob Leonard. He's Tim Leonard. 516-572-7440. By the way, we have some other great sports shows here at WHPC. We have 5 o'clock on Mondays and Tuesdays. We have 9 o'clock on Thursdays and Fridays. We have 3 o'clock. And, of course, that's 5 shows, man. That's a lot of sports on this radio station. People got to start somewhere. And like I said, there's only a couple of places for sports in the New York area. It's not like WOR doesn't really. Well, they have one sports show, I think, but Len Berman's there, but he's not really doing sports now.
I would mention another college station, but I'm not going to do that.
Okay, don't. Remember when we had Len on, Len Berman?
Yeah.
And right before the end, he goes, "Well, I have something to say, except I can't say it yet." And it was the WOR job.
Right, exactly.
So I wish he had said off mic and say, "Hey guys." So then again, I think I forget about it.
Should have brought us in for jobs.
He should have. I think you're right.
Oh, Big
Ed
Ed
speaking of Massapequa. He's ready to fight Sid Rosenberg, too. And that's not just because to defend Billy Baldwin. Ed just wants to beat the crap out of him.
Yes.
Good
man. Good man, Big
Because Ed has a lot of anger towards Sid. And Ed knows people, and I know people who would actually join in on the beating of Sid. So
I don't need any help.
I know you don't, but we have friends who would actually enjoy it. We can't mention their names on the radio.
I know. You don't want to get the police involved. I get it.
No, we don't. Anyway, you wanted to talk about what, brother? The coaching situation at Tennessee?
The University of Tennessee did something that I just don't get, and I don't understand it. And they were about to hire Greg Schiano, former Rutgers coach and current assistant at Ohio State. And when I heard that yesterday, my immediate reaction was, wow, good for Tennessee. They finally made a good decision.
Right.
Because it's been probably a decade since the program was relevant. And was competing. It was in the competition for national championships. And like I said, was a relevant college program. And by relevant, I mean a top 20 program.
Right, I remember that.
Greg Schiano, who had a lot of success at Rutgers, especially considering what Rutgers has been for most of its Division I football program. He has an agreement. He reaches an agreement with Tennessee to become their next coach. And as soon as that happens, people in Tennessee went nuts.
And not in a good way.
No, not in a good way. And this makes no sense to me because the Tennessee fan base is insisting that Schiano was somehow involved with the Jerry Sandusky episode at Penn State. Now, you have to let me just go back and say Schiano was at Penn State when Jerry Sandusky was allegedly molesting children. And apparently, according to an assistant coach there, Mike McQueary, he claimed that during a civil suit that Schiano and another assistant coach, Tom Bradley, came to him in the early 1990s and said that they just saw Jerry doing something to a boy in the shower. All right. Now, Schiano denied it. Right. And a lot of people have been denying stuff that's been going on with that whole episode. But Schiano's never faced any charges. The story that came out from McQueary was never involved in any of Penn State's internal investigations. And that was run by a former FBI director, by the way, so that wasn't any kind of just haphazard investigation.
Right, they made sure that everyone got blamed.
Right, I mean, you're talking an FBI director. They know how to run investigations.
Joe Paterno. Papa Joe was one of the guys.
Exactly. So the only person who claims that Schiano witnessed anything that was going on with Sandusky is this guy McQueary. All right? But what happens, Tennessee fans, as soon as they heard Schiano's name, it was, we don't want him here. He's part of that child molester crowd and whatnot. All right? Two politicians, and this amazes me because with the current climate going around, especially with somebody like Roy Moore, they say they don't want Schiano at Tennessee, and we need to find a better coach. And I just don't get this because Greg Schiano is a guy who any college program in the country should want somebody like Greg Schiano running their program,
right? Because
number one, you're going to have success. And number two, you're going to have success, and it's going to happen the right way. And that's what Tennessee needs. Tennessee, in in the last 11 seasons is 68 and 67. That's the very definition of mediocrity.
And if I'm not mistaken, Tennessee used to be a bigger name.
They used to be, like I said, 2006 or 7 or whatever. They were like a top 10 team. So this is a program that, at this point, last year they were actually very good. They got a couple of late upsets, and I think they won about 8 or 9 games last year. This year, I think they have 4 wins. So up and down, it's a program that's basically going nowhere. Like I said, State Representative Eddie Smith put this out on Twitter. He said, a Greg Schiano hire would be anathema to all that our university and our community stand for. Representative Jeffrey Faison says, quote, we don't need a man who has that type of potential reproach in their life as the highest paid state employee.
Potential. It's not even like
it's not.
He's accused of anything. He's not.
Exactly. So this is the problem, and it aggravates me when I don't even want to say those same politicians because they don't know where they stand on somebody like Roy Moore. But chances are that those two same politicians, chances are that they're supporting Roy Moore.
Well, the hypocrisy. We shouldn't assume. While we don't know what they're looking into.
Yes, but
why would
it's just absurd?
If they have a guy from the FBI do this investigation and he's not mentioned, that would indicate to me. And now you're just saying that everyone who worked at Penn State is guilty,
right?
And that would include players and teachers, even.
Meanwhile,
Penn State is still one of the great schools in our country.
First of all, Greg Schiano not only parlayed his success at Rutgers into a job with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Obviously, that didn't go well. But How many college coaches are going to the NFL these days as head coaches, as opposed to going there as an assistant and then working up to head coach? But for the last several seasons, has been an assistant at Ohio State. It's one of the best jobs in the country, Ohio State.
Yes, it is.
Perennial power. They didn't think anything was an issue with Greg Schiano, so bring him in. I don't understand what Tennessee is doing here, and why all of not all, but so many of their fans were outraged, and this movement took hold.
That happens.
I'm puzzled.
That's the sad part, brother. It's sometimes someone yells something and everyone gets scared or confused, and then more yelling and confusion. I think
now Tennessee is probably going to go for whatever retread of the month is going to be out there,
right?
And this is how you stay mediocre.
Yep.
As far as I'm concerned, Tennessee was fortunate to get somebody like Schiano, somebody who would build their program.
You know who would have been good? I know this was a last minute thing. It's on the sheet here. We could have called JP. Didn't he work on Rutgers?
He worked Rutgers.
Yeah, so he would have maybe worked with him.
I don't know. Well,
did he
cover Schiano?
I don't know.
I don't know if he goes back that far with Rutgers.
Okay, well.
I mean, I covered Schiano a couple times. That's
how
far back it goes. He probably covered him a couple times. Like he wasn't on the beat when Schiano was there. So let's put it that way. But yeah, JP, that would maybe we'll talk to him.
Anyway, quickly, we're running out of time. The Knicks are 10-9. They seem to have a problem winning on the road.
Everybody in the NBA does.
But they're 10-9. This is the best starting team for the Knicks in years. They are playing well. Porzingis is injured, though, a little bit. I was talking to a friend of mine, Big John, at work, and he was telling me that the league now knows Porzingis is a little soft on the inside.
Well, it's not soft.
And he was saying, I just want to quote him, that they know this now, and they're forcing him to go outside and to take shots instead of being closer to the basket. And, he's getting less good shots because of that.
I wouldn't say it's because Porzingis is soft, but he does seem to have issues with staying healthy.
Yeah.
So far. And I know that's unfair to a certain extent because I always use Phil Simms as the example. Early in Phil Simms' career, he got hurt a lot.
Yes, he did.
And later in his career, after his first, 3-4 seasons or whatever it was, he was pretty much always healthy. But he always had this reputation because early in his career, and it wasn't bad. I mean, the injuries that he got, I remember he broke his thumb once because on a follow-through, he hit somebody in the helmet. And that happens to quarterbacks.
Horrible thing.
But it